All three.
Easy. My life was never easy.
Having a lot of fun today, bro. Good for you.
No, I feel shitty.
He feels like shit.
Oh yeah, what's up? Oh, we back to being sick again?
I feel like I'm about to turn Resident Evil.
Shit.
The kid's sick too, or?
So I tell my girl that I'm feeling like this, and she's been feeling like this the past couple of days, like nauseous, weird. And then my son woke up seeming like he's like we just all recovered a few days ago. We just all recovered, and now it seems like it's creeping back in. Like it's like a cycle. We just keep giving it. I bought like a bunch of like mold tests and air tests for the crib and all kinds of things to just see if it's something that we could identify going on at the crib.
It's got to be, bro. Like we talked about, I think we talked about it last week, didn't we? Like you had mentioned the same thing. I don't know if it was off air, but it's got to be something environmental in your area because that shit don't make sense. The consistency is too much.
I mean, the weather has been funky out here to where I think it makes us more susceptible to stuff because it's like we'll have like a little mini cold front come in, and literally that same day it'll become humid and warm. And so I think that, you know, that doesn't help at least. So,
that's not very good looking, man. But your kids right now are in what phase of sickness? Past it? Getting past? Just
I don't know.
Oh,
it's anybody's game. It could be the beginnings of all over again, or it could be the end. I don't know. My son's got like, you know, mocos, and my girl said that my daughter woke up a little stuffed up. Like, I don't know what it is, man. I don't know, man.
It's all over the place. Manny, did they ease the mask restrictions at your schools?
Oh yeah.
Same at my daughter's school.
Yeah.
Bro, you can't weigh in on COVID conversations. It doesn't exist in Florida. You can't.
It does in my daughter's school. They would make her wear a mask and the hat with the plastic mask.
No shit.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yo, that's illegal. The governor doesn't know about that shit. He would shut that shit down.
So it's crazy because when my girl just happened to ask, like, oh, you know, does she still have to wear the stuff? They're like, no, you don't have to if you don't want to. So we told my girl, I felt like she prematurely told my daughter, oh, you don't have to wear this stuff anymore. But I told her, okay, maybe the hat, cool, but maybe she should just wear the mask still. But the cat was already out the bag, and she told, no, you're gonna wear this. She's like, no, I'm not wearing it. Like, she's like, no, Republicans, we're in Florida.
Right.
Fuck that shit. COVID doesn't exist. QAnon.
Jeez. Yo, so my 5-year-old, my kindergartner, came home from school with a kid's phone number.
Wearing it?
On a piece of paper, bro.
Like a Post-it?
Wait, your daughter?
Yes.
With a boy's number?
6-year-old now. Yes, B. Some kid was like, yo, here's my number. He put his name on it and wrote the phone number. And I'm counting the number because they don't separate it. I'm like, wait a minute. Did he really, like, for real give like a legit phone number?
And that shit's a celly, yo.
It is a celly. It's the first 3 numbers on a cell phone. Exactly.
Did you text that number?
Nah, I crumbled the paper up and like tossed it to the side. And then I had to go somewhere. And then I called my wife and I'm like, yo, because my daughter was wilding out before I left. And then, you know, I'm like, yo, did she calm down? And she's like, yeah, but then she started back up when she saw the crumbled piece of paper with the kid's phone number.
Like she got mad?
Yeah. It's not getting better, bro. Like, it's stressing me out. Like, I'm not doing nothing crazy, but yo, it's too fucking early to be dealing with this shit with her.
Yeah, that scares me.
And then my teenage daughter, she's like, oh my God, she's pulling dudes now. I'm like, don't say that shit. Especially not in front of her.
Not that lingo either.
Exactly. So I don't know.
They move too fast nowadays.
I don't know, bro. I was having this conversation with a industry homeboy of mine. Industry. That sounds like music.
The massage industry, right?
The advertising industry. The ad industry. And I was telling him what went down. And he's like, yo, but why do you think that is? Like, basically, like, what do you think she's getting from you as parents that is pushing her in this direction? And that shit made me think. I'm like, yo, maybe we are sending the wrong signals or signals that she's misinterpreting, and really.
Is she soaking up things? Like, I mean, I don't know, like what you allow them to listen to or watch, or if you guys watch more mature stuff together as a family, or if she's getting stuff from like your oldest daughter. How does that all trickle down?
It's a combination of things. So the older two have the ability to understand and watch things that are a little bit more beyond her age.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that is one place that she sees it, because she'll be hanging out with them and then they're watching it. So she's understanding a lot of that shit way more quickly than she should. We don't particularly watch anything that could be remotely misconstrued until everybody's asleep, which happens rarely because that shit's too late and I don't want to stay up that late. But when I started thinking about like what we do that can be potentially a cause for this shit, it really narrows down to like my relationship with my wife is like is really it's like it's a love story, I guess you could say, right? So we love on each other a lot in the house, and so they see two people in love, all the time, and they love to see it. It's not like us, like, oh, we're kissing each other, but like we really show each other a lot of love.
Yeah, you got affection, right? So
yeah, and then they appreciate that, and I think my youngest has fallen in love with love as a result.
Right.
So
interesting.
I know she's coming at this whole thing from a like, oh, my parents have such a beautiful thing. That's a relationship. I like relationships because of that. Not like she's like a skis or anything like now that you might assume. Hey, bro, it is what it is.
This is why Pepe Le Pew was canceled though, for kids that are like this.
Yeah.
Like, imagine.
And I haven't heard that word in such a long time.
Skis?
What, skis?
Yeah.
Because Kay used to use it all the time. You skis. You clocking all this dough.
What's the name of the album? UTFO? Skeezer Pleaser?
Yeah, so I'm really trying to like not flip and just kind of put guardrails when they're necessary, but also not like have her feel like she's doing something wrong.
And it is it's really confusing in terms of how to like what is age appropriate, and like what's the exposure level and what really sinks in and what doesn't. I mean, of course there's like super blatant raw stuff that you just know. But I mean, even going back to like, I mentioned this before about like my son getting into Tribe pretty heavy, and I made him this playlist, and it's got a lot of songs on there. But see, I did it more from like the beat perspective, and I didn't quite remember like all the rhymes, the lyrics. And it's not like Tribe is soft or anything like that, but they said crazy shit, but in a
eloquent kind of way.
Yeah, creative way, right? I mean, some of it's kind of raw too. But like, because like in the car, he wants to put his playlist on, so we're listening to it, and my wife's kind of looking at me sideways, like, you're letting him, hear this. Even though
is your wife not doing because like in the car with us, like when something like that happens, like my wife will like dub it with her voice. She'll be like, ah! Like try to drown it out.
We tried to do that early, like a couple of years ago, but it's kind of past that point now. I mean, he'll put his music on while he's either playing a game or listening to doing homework or whatever, and then he'll pull up the lyrics, and so it's almost like he can recite a lot of these songs.
Oh, wow.
He might not know what half of the stuff is, but I mean, but I'm just like, damn, dude, I don't know. Like, is it too mature? Like, are some of these things too mature? And we'll talk about it. He'll ask me what some of the stuff is, and I'll explain to him. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know if you should be hearing all this. And he goes, no, trust me. I know, I understand what it means. And So I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know if I did a disservice or if it was good that, he's just understanding what some of this shit is about now.
And maybe maybe it was my own naivete. I think that's how you say it. Being a youngster, but like I remember like reciting rhymes that I heard and not really understanding what the fuck I was saying until later. And then it hit me like, yo, that was foul, or yo, that was mad profound. And I was just
I
like,
knew all that shit.
saying words. Right. So that's
Yeah.
the question. Like, were y'all like that, or did y'all actually understand the context of what you
Nah.
were spitting?
I mean, I was out and about just hanging. I know, very little adult supervision, and we're listening to music around older dudes too, and
And y'all
yeah, we're getting,
dissecting it too, right?
like, Two Live Crew and MC Shy D, or even Beastie Boys, and these lyrics, were raunchy. Gucci
Yeah.
Crew, and so yeah, we knew what it was, and then you find that fucking Penthouse magazine in the garbage, and then you're like, oh, this is what it is.
You had illustrations in the trash for you.
Show you right.
But even on just some of the street shit, on aside from sex or whatever, like one of his favorite ones is the Scenario remix, and so Hood comes on at the very the first verse, and his shit is kind of raw, and he's
Right.
saying some stuff that's not necessarily politically correct these days, and like I had to walk him through and explain that, and he's wondering, well, what other songs have you done? I'm like, well, he's dead now, and so
Whoa.
trying to explain that side of it's just interesting, and it's cool, but I also wonder, like, damn, is he too young for this kind of stuff, or is it okay?
Let me ask you guys this though. Do you think it's worth, instead of trying to explain the lyrics and really give like real life explanations to what they're talking about or who the person is and whatever, and how it doesn't age well, some of these lyrics, do you think it would make sense to kind of like start to preach to a young child about art and artistic expression, and how it might rub people the wrong way, this and that, but in art, kind of anything goes because it's just an expression of individuality?
Yeah, I go there too, where it's like, because he'll ask, even if they're saying something that's let's call it not nice, right? He's like, well, but it sounds so cool the way
That's the problem.
they're saying it, or he's
You make
making it
it
come
flow.
across.
Or the way he says biatch.
So I have to explain to him also, well, that's part of it, is just forget what people are actually saying. You're going to hear a lot of stuff where people are bragging, and
Right.
and trying to trying to make themselves sound cool, because that's part of the idea, is the voice is the instrument, and sometimes it's not even what you're saying, it's how you're saying it.
Like maybe relating it to, like, if someone is doing a painting and a color pops and they want to make this pop, these lyrics are
Right.
the words are used to pop, to make this art pop.
Yeah. And so like Busta Rhymes, for example, he's big on Busta as well.
Mhm.
And part of it is because he's so energetic in the way he switches up the flows and everything. And he's always
Right.
asking me, like, so who do you think is better skilled, Busta or Fife, or Nas
That's
or
dope.
Fife? Or,
That type of conversation is
that.
dope, though.
So he keeps bringing that kind of stuff. And I'm just like, well, it depends on what you think is skilled and what what appeals to you. You like Busta because you like the way he gives the energy and the flow. It might not even about what he's saying, because some of the stuff he's, cursing his ass off, but the way he's doing it, just goes great with the music. So
right,
that's
the flow, the
yeah,
style.
yeah, exactly. So we're having those type of conversations within the, here's what the lyrics could mean as well.
That's dope.
But you do make a good point. You do make a good point of just, the
Art.
music is painting a picture, like art.
Yeah, like if you go to a museum and you see, I don't know, a Picasso, whoever is drawing these naked ladies or naked people,
that's exactly what I was thinking about.
or heads chopped off or whatever, like, are you gonna sit there, you're gonna explain it, but it's like it's all in the same vein. At some point it's probably better to explain art and what art is and what it means, and rather than to try to like explain away something like that,
Yeah.
Do you find that you're having like good conversations with your son about it? Like, is it like a point counterpoint? Is he able to like give
Is
his
it productive?
Yeah, no, I think he understands what
That's dope.
the conversation. I think he gets it.
That's dope.
And I can see when he's listening to the songs and reading through the lyrics like on his own, he's dropping out what he's supposed to drop out on these things.
That's really interesting. Like my son does a lot of that on his own. My son, I don't know how much influence I gave him or he got from me with respect to forming his musical palette, but the kid like wandered into my exact world of hip hop. Like if you ask him who's his favorite rapper right now, for him is J. Cole. And like he started listening to Jay and he was like, "Oh, Jay's hard." Like, where'd that come from? Big, he loved. And I play a bunch of stuff, but it was there was never a focus. It was just kind of like it would be in the background. We didn't talk about it. And so it's so interesting, especially because you've got what you hear on the radio largely is not what I really listen to. And so it was that whole process and how deeply he understands the music and the context and the era. Like he studies it.
Yeah.
He knows who Cool Herc is. Like he's
that's cool.
reading on these people in the library and all that kind of stuff. So it's that, and then basketball. Like he's going deep in both areas, which is dope.
Yeah, it's cool to see when they zero in on things they dig and then they start to go in. I think for me, I'm also wanting to just impress upon him to not have a narrow view on music and make sure he's listening to other things, so that because he used to be heavy into like Bill Withers and Stevie Wonder, and now he's kind of in his tribe and 90s hip hop phase wanting to hear more of that, but I also don't want him to lose the love for the other stuff and be eclectic, because it'll just help expand his mind and taste.
Next is Megadeth and Iron Maiden.
Yeah,
and then explain those lyrics.
Right. Exactly.
First, you got to understand them, and that's still dope. What about you, E? Are you still doing your music sessions with your daughter?
The movie Encanto took over. When I try to show them any kind of music, they're like, just play Encanto's, like either the movie or play the playlist.
The soundtrack.
Encanto.
Yeah, I mean, and it's actually dope though. So I don't actually mind it as much.
Yeah.
But the repetition is kind of annoying.
So you guys don't talk about Bruno then?
We definitely don't talk about Bruno.
Yeah, we don't talk about Bruno over there.
No.
We use that shit for everything in this house. If it's something that I don't want to talk about, we're like, we're gonna talk about Bruno. And it could be about fucking cleaning the house or whatever. And then everybody's like, so it's a joke.
The Luisa phase, oh my God, my daughter started picking up everything she could try to pick up and things that she couldn't pick up. I'm Luisa. She's like picking it up. And then if you don't look at her when that song is on, when in the movie, she knows the whole thing, the words, the dancing. But if she catches eye contact that you're watching her, she stops.
Oh, okay. I thought she wanted you to peep her.
No.
You just you do it on the sneak.
My favorite thing in the whole wide world that I think brings me the most joy right now is seeing my kids dance and seeing them enjoy music. I don't care what the music is.
Yeah.
But when they're like just freely dancing, like true happiness and getting lost in the music. My daughter has a big smile and she's making like that like she don't even know, she's so happy she don't even know what to do with herself, and she's just like moving around all crazy, and my son starts moving around. Like that brings me the most joy right now.
Do they get along? Do they dance in the same vicinity? And do you find them to be happy together doing it?
That's probably one of the few times where they actually can kind of get along. But if he bumps into her too much, then it's a wrap.
It's over.
It's a wrap. Dude, her fuse with him is so short. And then he just has PTSD with her. So then he's like, quickly over it as well. And we'll continue the fight. She'll start the fight and he'll take the fight to her after that.
Are you guys struggling with meals for your kids? Like, are your kids eating enough of a variety of things where it makes life easy, or are you still, particularly you, E, you're probably dealing with this more than K might, or do you find like you have a good variety that they enjoy where it doesn't become that hard?
I'm worried, man. I mean, we do have we're subscribed to a lot of these food services for kids. They're like organic and veggie based everything.
Oh, they ship
Which
them and you cook them, or
uh
did they?
some you cook, some
Okay,
is just the pouches and
got it, got it, got it.
different things. But and that worries me sometimes because as great as these companies look, you just never know what's going on when they're being made.
Yeah.
So that kind of makes me feel like, are we just being lazy parents? And but then again, I guess we're from the compota era, like that's the same crap, and and it's probably worse.
Yeah.
So I mean, they eat as much as they can of that. Like, well, as much we're trying to feed them that, and it's shit's expensive too. But usually they don't eat it all very well.
Oh, so it's
So
like a waste.
yeah, bro. Like my son went through a phase this past couple weeks because he was sick that he didn't eat anything, which is what scared us because he's such a good eater that we took him to urgent care over the weekend and to his primary doctor day before yesterday. And we finally just told him, just can you please just x-ray, check everything. Want to make sure he's okay and blood, everything. They said he's fine. But my daughter, she's super picky, and then everything for her is the treat. Everything for her is what she chooses to eat that she wants to eat. When you put something in front of her, then she doesn't want that. The minute you take it away from her, you give it to her brother, then all of a sudden she wants it. Like
Huh. But it's all like, I'm all right, I'm gonna torture myself and have this, but you're giving me something afterward.
yeah, we gotta like be like, okay, you gotta do 3 more, forks or spoons of it. Come on, 1, 2, and she'll have a full plate and only eat a little bit of it, and then it's the treat. But I mean, the treats are harmless as well. Usually what we're giving them, but my daughter's been hard about it.
How about you, Kay? Your son?
Mm-mm. He's a good eater.
had his?
Our biggest headache is school lunch,
Yeah.
Mm.
because that is like
Slop.
it just goes. I mean, it sometimes we'll send him with home lunch, and he'll like it for a couple days, and then bored of it, and we don't know what else to make. You know what I mean? And then he'll say, "All right, well, I'm gonna try school lunch," and then he'll hit a couple that he likes, and then there'll be, like yesterday, for example, he comes back from school and I was like, "How, what'd you have for lunch there?" No, they had tacos, but I didn't like the meat, and so the only vegetarian option was rice in the shell. They put the rice in the shell, but the rice was cold, so I took the rice out, and so I ate the shell for lunch. And I'm like, well, you can't go on just eating the fucking
Either way, it would
shell.
have been carbs on carbs on carbs.
You know what I mean?
Just the
So
show.
it's like I just don't know. And he does a lot of stuff after school. He goes and
He
has
needs that
swim
fuel.
practice, and so I do worry a little bit about, like, it's just feels like there's never any real consistency on what he's eating for lunch. I don't know. What do you give your kids for lunch that they seem to like over and over again, or do you have the same problem?
So we lucked out this year because the school, it's not great food, but it saves us from having to send stuff.
Yeah.
And we kind of low key threaten our kids too. Like, you better eat that shit, or I don't know what to tell you. You might not eat. And
Right.
we plan vacations around food. So like our whole household is really big on eating good stuff. So when we do, like, my eldest, she doesn't want to make the line at lunchtime. So we prepare her like leftovers or whatever. It's usually not that difficult, but it is a pain in the ass in the morning. Like, my wife, thank God, preps pretty much all their food. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we send them snacks and stuff, but I'm not happy with the quality of generally like the food that they're eating. Like, they really snack a lot,
Yeah.
and the snacks that are available that we buy are not the greatest. And it's hard for me to tell my wife, and when she buys them, like, don't buy it, because I don't come with a better suggestion. And I guess I haven't taken the time to really analyze, like, all right, what's the substitute for goldfish?
Right.
Those cheese crackers. Like, I don't fucking know. Like, so it's spending the time to really get better at it. But that's where my frustration is, because the other piece of it too is similar to E. My two youngest, it's all about the treat. So they'll do what's necessary, but I bet your ass they're gonna get that lollipop or that, Skittles or whatever it is.
Oh damn, you go that far in the treat?
Wow, Skittles.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, no. Our treat is
Not
like
good.
a whipped cream with some fruits.
That's not good. They're too
Maybe
hip
ice
to it.
cream.
They're too hip to it, and they're just like, and I mean, the first problem is like bringing that shit into the house for them to be able to grab, right? But like, they're like, Mom, can you please? And then mom does what mom does, and then grandma comes with a fucking bag full of lollipops. That shit's here for 2 months,
Damn.
and my mother's like, "Don't tell me shit. Just shut the fuck up." Is what my mother basically tells me. You can't tell me shit. I'll slap you. I'm like, you're right. So I'm stuck. Does your mother slap you, E?
Slap me?
Yeah, she doesn't slap you no more.
Nah.
I'm the only one. That's
Yeah,
some
you
shit.
get slapped, huh?
I mean, verbally. My mother's 5'3", and she'll, as soon as she opens her mouth, woof, Rap City, kid.
I mean, obviously, I'm pretty sure none of us ate great growing up. So obviously, something works out, especially if we care, if we're trying to care about it.
It depends what you mean. Because, like, do you mean like out of cans, like canned foods and
Just
stuff?
in general, I mean, I don't remember having the most rounded. I remember going damn near eating whatever was possible. Like my mom used to make a big deal of saying, "Oh, it's an invention. I'm gonna invent something." We were so broke, so it was like all these weird ingredients to make a meal, and Spam was in there often, and Vienna sausages were in there often.
I ate a lot of frozen pizza.
Damn, you was rich.
Yeah, frozen pizza I didn't have as much of. That was actually a treat.
The Celeste pizza for one.
Damn.
Ramen noodles was big around the crib.
I'm trying to think. Yo, we used to eat a lot of just Wonder Bread and slices of bologna.
Jesus. Yeah, we ate the bologna sandwiches. But
Yeah.
it was game time when my grandma would be around. And
She
then
put
she would
cheese
make
in
it
that
the full on Cuban meals, which I'm sure I don't know, those are the healthiest things either.
What's the poultry equivalent to that? The turkey roll?
Yeah.
Oof.
Turkey roll. I never did the whole, like, you know how people talk about like the tang sandwiches? You ever heard of that?
Tang?
Oh,
Yeah,
you pour the
powder.
powder.
Oh, disgusting.
Yeah, I never went that far.
No, that's crazy. No, I just did mayonnaise sandwiches. No meat, no anything,
do-
just mayonnaise and two
Yeah.
pieces of bread.
Mayonnaise
I was
or
good.
mayonnaise and cheese sandwich.
Yeah, I was good with that. I
That
could eat
was
like 10
special.
of those joints.
Yeah.
It wasn't that bad. I mean, in retrospect, that shit's probably horrible. But in the moment, like, them shits solve problems. Like, I enjoyed them shits.
Yeah, it solved your stomach growling. That's pretty
Starvation.
much all it did.
What was before we roll out of here, what was your favorite at the time? Now it's probably like garbage to you, but what was your favorite school meal? Could be grade school, could be high school,
It was
whatever.
always the pizza, man. That squared pizza, because I would ask for two, and I would take off the cheese, and I would eat the cheese by itself, and then one of the pieces of the actual bread as like to go with the cheese as I'm eating it.
So you would separate the cheese from the dough.
2 slices I would get, or the 2 square pieces they would give me, separate it, and eat one of the pieces of the bread as like if you had a cracker in your hand or a piece of bread, and eat the cheese that way. I love that cheese. I don't know what kind of fucking cheese that was.
I think them joints was cheese. I think they were Elio's pizzas.
Oh, Elio, yep. Elio's.
Probably.
Yep. The square ones, yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, E? I mean, K.
EKG.
I don't remember a lot of the school. Probably the mayonnaise and cheese sandwich from home. I think that was probably it. Yeah.
Shit. For me, it was Sloppy Joe.
Oh, I hated Sloppy Joe.
Couldn't get with
a passion, and I knew not to eat that because then you would have a Sloppy Joe later. You're nasty, man.
Oh, that shit was popping, son. And I remember that shit. I think that shit used to be served on Tuesdays in grammar school.
Did you guys have and we'll get out of here, but did you guys have any weird snack that you were addicted to when you were a kid that everybody's like, this is gonna hurt you? So for me, to give you an example, was, and I mean I could still do it now if I wanted to, because I still think it's dope, is cutting up lime, having a plate full of like salt or garlic salt was my favorite. Like my mouth is watering right now thinking about it. taking the wedges and then biting that and eating the salty lime.
Huh.
Supposedly they went to because I ate it so often. They tried to tell me that I was gonna have a hole in my stomach from eating
from
the acid.
That's actually something like my wife's mom. That was something that she would make for her when she wasn't feeling well or upset stomach.
You see, I knew I
the-
was ahead of the game.
The sliced lemon or lime with salt. Yep. I still
we do
yeah,
that.
my wife's not feeling well sometimes. I still do that to her and my son.
I wonder what that would do because the salt's gonna maintain the water in your body.
I don't know. It just helps calm
It soothes the
everything down. Yeah.
stomach. I do that shit to this day, and it helps.
But I would do the whole full on
Yeah,
thick ass layer,
Cake it.
and then the garlic salt. I'm sure didn't help my breath at the time, but the garlic salt was where it was at.
That's back when you was DJ. Oof. And
That was when I was little Eriquito.
damn. What was a weird snack? I don't know. Kay, what do you have one?
I don't really have. I don't think I had a weird snack. Although I used to try to scrounge up some change after school and go to the store down the block and get the Hostess fruit pies.
Oh,
Remember
Oh
those?
yeah. Those would fuck up my stomach though.
The lemon
those were a
one
hell
or
of
the
a treat.
raspberry one. Yeah.
Yeah, no, the apple pie one was my favorite because my
Yeah.
dad used to love those and whatever. I love those joints.
I was I mean it's not I guess it's not weird, but I was a fiend for sour powers.
Mm.
Like
The fuck is
those.
that?
You
Like
don't know what a
Sour Patch
sour
Kids?
power? Not well,
Sour power.
same vein, but there was just like long straws almost, the candy. And they had a bunch of sour salt or sugar, I should say, on top of them. And they came in they had a variety of them. The ones that, and I was like a connoisseur. So I was like, nah, get the bagged shit out of here. I need the joint that comes from the box.
Right.
And it was like this transparent box. You go to the convenience store, it was like, I don't know, like a penny a pop or something like that. Bro, I used to go in there buying a box from the grocery store. I was like, give me that whole shit. We're going to town today. But that shit was good and terrible for you.
You guys ever had the spicy? I used to have these in LA, but this I would buy from the ice cream man. The spicy tamarind balls or seeds. I don't know if they were I'm assuming they're tamarind.
Yeah, they were.
And it was drenched in spice.
I know what you're talking about.
I love those joints.
Just as good.
I
I don't know if
those
I had
when
them with
moved over here.
spice. I think I had them with like just sugar around them.
Well, here in Miami, like the Jamaican spots would sell them, and they were like different. They weren't as spicy because I guess I'm getting the Mexican version of it.
Oh, okay. Oh, right, because this was out in LA, you said.
Yeah.
Got you. Yeah, that sounds good. They still sell that shit? Well, you don't know.
No, the Jamaican spot sells it.
Yeah, but
you could even get it in the store. Oh, I'm sure they in LA. I'm sure, and I'm sure I could probably find it here somewhere.
All right, next time I'm down there, we're gonna go hunting. I want to try that shit.
With his bumps, huh?
Or that beat. You know what I mean? All right, y'all.
All right, man, I'm gonna go faint.
Hey, fellas. Yeah. Get some sleep, man.
Later.
Not happening.
All right. Later.